Hello and welcome to Flosstube number 9. I'm Jo, Stitcher Cat Lady 26, and this is Wednesday the 2nd of February. It's pretty dark out. I'm filming this a lot later than I normally do, largely because, stitching. So I've got a few things to tell you about. I'm going to start with whips. Actually, I'm going to start with a finish, but it's my secret project, so I can't show you. What I will do is show you just a little bit on Pattern Keeper. It's rainbow spectrum, but there was no orange, and there was lots of indigo, so I put in some orange and reduced the amount of indigo. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. Now it just needs decatting and wash and iron and go to the framers. So sadly I can't show you that, and I won't be able to show you that for a few months at least. Sorry about that. Right, now my other whips I can show you. I was able to work on 3 whips after finishing the secret project. I not only finished the weekly and monthly prompts for magical stitches for January, I also got a few stitches on the yearly. The way it works is if you stitch on the weekly, if you stitch on the yearly, if you meet your monthly goals, you can make a guess as to the murderer, because it's basically being run as a game of Cluedo, or Clue as it's known outside of the UK. I'm waiting to find out the results of my last 2 guesses, because I worked on the weekly and the yearly, well, 3 guesses, because I worked on weekly, yearly and my monthly goals. So the prompts for this week, it's 4 prompts for the week. They're all based on the Embroidery Mystery series by Amanda Lee, book 1, Quicken the Thread. Now the first prompt is a whip with a dog, because the main character has a dog. I decided to go with Cryptids. The second prompt is related to the number 7. Third prompt is a whip with 4 as a minimum squares. Again, I've gone with Cryptids because it's got boxes and that was actually okayed. And the fourth whip is, fourth prompt is something you could order at a coffee shop or a bar. There's a coffee shop next door to the embroidery shop, and there's a bar over the road, and they're all friends. So I decided to go with Bellatrix because she's holding a ball of flame, and having worked in a number of pubs over the years, you can buy flaming sambucas in bars. So who's to say there isn't a glass of sambuca in a hand? So that was my choices. I haven't actually stitched on Bellatrix yet, but I have stitched on the other 3 prompts. So last time I showed you Cryptids, it was all the way down here with the Yeti. So I will put a photo in to show that at that time. I decided to use this for the dog because of a lovely little chupacabra friend, sometimes being described as dog-like. As long as we can explain it, we can use it, basically. The admin team are not coming through and checking everybody's posts. It would just be impossible. There's several hundred people playing the game. It's not going to happen. So I've done basically all of him since yesterday. It's fun watching him grow. I'm basically doing his outline and then I'll colour him in. So that's going to be fun when it's done. For something relating to the number 7, I decided to go with Joan Elliott's Rainbow Fairy of the Rainbow, and I basically did most of that green bit there. So not a lot. Like I say, we set our own goals. A minimum of 100 stitches on each prompt is expected, but you know, if you do more, great, you do more, you get further along in your work. The third piece I worked on, so I did this with the yearly for the end of January, and I've done a time lapse of part of it. So basically I've worked on the eye and just this area surrounding it, tidied up my box stitches, not that you'd think it, but yeah, tidied those up a bit so they're now all on one row or one column. I did actually take photographs at various stages of doing the eye, so it's I've already put it up on my Instagram as a little bit of a time-lapse video, so I will include it here as well. I'm just eternally impressed by how these things build up. Okay, so that's all my whips. I'm going to do things in a slightly different order. So I've had a couple of comments, seen a couple of comments about various storage options for threads. Now, what I want to do has changed. You could say my methods have evolved, but I'd never actually throw out the old method. So the first one I started using when I just got too many threads to keep in a box was these blow-around folders. So you get the folder and buy the project cards separately. You can also buy MasterCards for your projects. And you basically wind your thread around a piece of card that comes with it and store it in the holes. So it's pre-cut, which is helpful, but it can get a bit tangled, and when you've got a lot, you know, the more thread you've got, the more folders you need, and it was just getting a bit silly, and they tear. I do have 3 folders, and if I've got multiple strands of threads left at the end of a project, I will put them back in the folders, because if it's pre-cut, that's the easiest place to save it and to find it. But my master set of threads now, I do pretty much have a full set of DMC. I keep in these. So I've got 4 of these folders with my master set in, including the étoile. I've got a few duplicates, and I use the DMC stitch bows and the wallets. You get 15 bows in each wallet. And I think the thing I particularly like is you don't have to unwind the skein and rewind it on something else. You literally just slide it on. It's a DMC product, so just made. It's a DMC product, so it's all made to fit. Just occasionally you'll find that one of these little, so these come off the skein, just occasionally you'll find that that won't fit. The tool was maybe not the best one to show you that, because it does fray a lot more than the standard threads. They are mostly numbered, these are duplicates. So I just put them at the front and I use them first. I could put them in next to the actual numbers, but I'd have to redo all the wallets, and I'm not doing that. The folders were fairly cheap from a office supply store. I ended up with about 10 because they were closing down, so they were reduced even further. I do have some DMCs on bobbins, but I didn't do them. I bought them from somebody else's stash. The folders are also great for separate projects. So this is my folder for Spider's Queen. As you can imagine, there's a lot of black, a lot of orange. So I just felt the easiest way to keep them neat and tidy was to not put them in the project bag, but to put them in one of these folders, and there's enough of them to make it worthwhile. I also have a folder for Planet Dragons. You know, when you think there's like 6 skeins of one particular orange, 5 skeins of a different orange, 6 skeins of black, it just makes sense to me to keep them somewhere neat and tidy. So that's my main way of storing my DMC threads. Now, I do bobbinate. I bobbinate my Fancy Floss. Now, this is my Jodyri. So they come on skeins like this, quite twisted, which is a little bit difficult to use on the go. So I do bobbinate those. And I have 2 boxes. So I'm only about 2 or 3 months off having the full set. So once all these are bobbinated, there will be some gaps, but I will stop getting them on a monthly basis. And I'll just then order them as and when I need to replace. I think that's everything for the storage. Haul. So you have my trusty haul bag. My nice little Susie K bag. Haul. Nada. Nothing. Not that I haven't bought anything, it's just not arrived. So that will all be in next month. And finally, gosh, this is quick for the second go around, I realised I'd actually recorded on the lowest quality, and just thought, you know, I was going to leave it, but no, do it again, just do it again. And it's now about half the length. So I think I'm up to new Flosstubers, or at least new to me. So Stitchy-Lonka, who you all already know, and one of her favourite Flosstubers is the Danish Stitcher, Esther, who has now also been persuaded to do Flosstubers in German. Esther, again, some lovely pieces. She's got a big spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and is it Geralt from The Witcher. I've not watched The Witcher, but that picture might just, you know, I don't have Netflix, so but hey, it's Henry Cavill. Might have to be done at some point. We have a cat in the shelter called Nivellen, which I've been told is from The Witcher. so hopefully she'll get a home soon. Also, based on recommendations from other Flosstubers, I went and watched the Daydream Stitcher, Mary. She's christening it up with the best of them. Again, some beautiful pieces. I think it was her video going through some old boxes that she'd brought from her mum's that prompted the storage display, because she found some of her old storage system, and it's like, I didn't get on with it, but it was the stitch bows, you know. So again, it's each to their own, everybody's different, everything suits different people. I love the stitch bows. She didn't. I know other people that didn't, and I know other people that did. I would not use the DMC cardboard folders that come with them, because you just can't get anywhere near as much in, and they're cardboard and they're flimsy. So no, I will stick with my plastic folders. Third Flosstuber. This gentleman I found came up as a recommendation while I was watching the Danish Stitcher. He's called Son of a Stitch, and his Flosstubes are a little bit different. He doesn't do the, oh look what I did, you know, this is my work, this is where it was last week, this is where it is now. None of that. He does instructional videos. He's got 2 basic playlists. One is cross stitch basics, one is cross stitch tips and hacks. And I do find it interesting to see how other people approach stitching. In his very first video, he provides a chart, and the cross stitch basics, he basically works through that chart, doing the different stitches, a different aspect of stitching with each video. So it's, well, this is your chart, this is how you read it in one video, this is your fabric, this is how you size it in the next video, etc, etc. And there is pretty much everything on that. This chart is very simple, the little chart. You've got cross stitch, you've got fractionals, you've got back stitch, you've got French knots. Everything's there. I wouldn't use some of the methods that he uses, although I have at times. It's just not the way I would normally do things. But you know, nobody's wrong here. There are no cross stitch police. You do what feels right to you. Tips and hacks are great. His video about hoops, you're doing it wrong. He actually uses the method that I use, which is to work in the well. So the back of the fabric is flat, and basically so you can thread your needle through the back without the hook getting in the way. Seems logical to me. Also in that video we meet Nugget, his budgie, who seems to think that hoops are budgie perches. So he's well worth a look. He hasn't done a video for nearly a year, which I think is a shame. I'd like to see more. Again, I haven't watched all of them yet, I only found him yesterday, but I think I will, as much out of curiosity as anything else, because I do find it interesting how so many people can do the same thing in so many different ways. But also, I've been stitching for 30 years near enough. I'm still learning. There's still things that you'll see somebody do and you go, oh, I need to try that. I've not done that before. I've not seen that before. I need to give that a go. So as simple as it is, it's basically stitching that way, make a cross, do a straight line. Even Heaven and Earth and Artisy, the full coverage, they're simple. It's just one cross at a time or a row of crosses at a time. The actual techniques aren't difficult. It's the application of that technique on a complicated picture that I think puts a few people off. So that's me done, I think. This is a bit shorter than the last one, so hopefully it won't take so long to edit and I can still get it up tonight. Before I see you next, hopefully I will have more whips to show you next time. Should do, hopefully 2 weeks. So from now I shall say goodbye, keep stitching, keep talking to each other. Sorry, I've just seen the way my cat is lying on this cat tree. He's got his head hanging over. Be kind to each other, look after each other, and I shall see you in a couple of weeks.